Britain is set to face its biggest rail strike in 30 years after collective bargaining collapsed. The RMT union, known to be militant, wants to largely shut down rail traffic this week. The London Underground, which carries around 3.7 million passengers every day, is also affected. The economy expects high losses. So Britain faces its biggest rail strikes in decades this week. According to the plans of the RMT union, its 40,000 members will paralyze rail traffic in large part of the countries on Tuesday, so today, Thursday and Saturday. Today, the employees of the London Underground also want to stop work for 24 hours. Only a fifth of the usual 20,000 trains will run. On the days in between, the 13 private railway companies affected have to reduce their connections by almost half. In Scotland and Wales, rail traffic is largely stopped. Millions of commuters, tourists, business travellers and freight transport are affected. Transport Secretary Grant Shapps called the strike a huge mistake. The Rail Workers Union, the RMT, is demanding more wages at least equal to inflation, which would mean a near double-digit increase, and they are protesting at the threat of layoffs at the state-owned rail network company Network Rail. RMT General Secretary Mick Lynch blamed the government for the escalation of the industrial dispute. At a rally outside Parliament in London over the weekend, he called out, "The message is clear. We are now in a class struggle." He called the ruling Tories butchers of workers' rights. I can't blame him. Transport Secretary Shapps warned that the union was punishing millions of innocent people with the major strikes. During the pandemic period, the railways have been supported with around £16 billion in taxpayer money to offset losses. The number of passengers is still lower than before COVID, so the railways have to save money somewhere. The government has drawn up contingency plans with the private sector to ensure the transport of goods by rail. John Smith, chief executive of rail freight group GB Rail Freight, said the initial strike was manageable. If the strikes last longer, there could be problems with the fuel supply at the petrol stations again. The gastronomy and tourism industry expects a sharp drop in sales as a result of the strikes this week. The UK Hospitality Association spoke of more than £500 million in losses in the hospitality industry alone due to the commuters staying away. Economists estimate the overall economic losses caused by the major strikes to be in the billions. Representatives of the opposition Labour Party have backed the rail workers' strikes. RMT Secretary General Lynch announced that the industrial action could go on for longer. He has a mandate for 6 months of strikes, which could also be extended. The Transport Union, National Union of Railway, Maritime and Transport Workers, the RMT, as I said, is known to be militant and politically far left. Its president, Alex Gordon, is a member of the Communist Party of Britain and sits on its executive committee. The strike brings back memories of other great labour disputes in British histories. In 1989, a 6-week labour dispute at British Rail largely paralysed rail services. The expected traffic chaos in the UK is likely to be compounded by airlines having to cancel flights due to staff shortages. The strike days also coincide with the Glastonbury Music Festival and school exams across the country. So we have quite some interesting weeks ahead. I cannot promise that there will be videos every day this week because you might see how I'm sweating, so the man flu is still keeping me occupied, but I'm trying. So I hope to see you in my next video tomorrow. Bis gleich.